strangers, new friends, thank you for coming. I don't know what to say other than this was a labor of love. We made this very small budget film, but we made it with community, we made it with family, we made it with friends, we made it with the city of Miami, and we're really excited to share our home and our families with you.
And thank you so much to TIFF and to Robin and Aditya and everybody here. It's been so wonderful, and we saw a couple of clips earlier, and it's the best presentation of the film that we've ever seen. So we really appreciate it. Everybody in tech, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody in TIFF. And we're gonna play the entire credits. It's only a couple of minutes, so please stay through the credits so we can chat after and we can catch up. The credits are lovely, so you know. But we really appreciate you all being here, and we're really glad. This is the first audience outside of the States that's ever seen this movie, so really, really happy that you guys are here to share it with us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please help me welcome back to the stage director Monica Sorelle, producer Robert Colom, Atibon Nazaire, who played Xavier, Sheila Anozier, who played Esperance, and Tristan, who played Junior. Welcome. I want to start with you, Monica. So what sparked your interest in telling this story, the story of Xavier Sr. and all the entanglements with kind of housing and gentrification?
I was born and raised in Miami, and I spent a lot of my childhood in Little Haiti. So when I came back from film school in 2014, I noticed something slightly amiss. And it became clearer and clearer to me that the neighborhood was changing in a way that didn't favor the residents there. I tried to kind of go into organizing and kind of try to save the neighborhood, and realized that I am not an organizer, and I was way too sensitive and got burnt out immediately. And so I wanted to go back into what I knew, which was film, and figure out a way to tell the story of this neighborhood that I was afraid would disappear. Robert and I have been friends and producing partners for the better part of a decade, and we were working in Wynwood, which is another neighborhood that went through another complete overhaul. It's a Puerto Rican neighborhood in Miami that is now an arts district. And we were walking to lunch one day, and we saw a demolition worker just finish with a house that was on the same block and say goodbye to his coworkers and walk across the street to the more suburban side of the neighborhood where there's still a Puerto Rican stronghold. And I remember turning to Robin and being like, what if he's a demolition worker that lives so close to the neighborhood that he can walk to work? And yeah, that started Mountains for us.
Sheila and Atibon, you deliver such warm, lived-in performances, and there's such a rapport between you three. Can you talk about how you developed these characters? And in particular, Sheila and Atibon, there's such a affection and tenderness between your characters. Talk a little bit about that.
Go ahead.
Well, Atibon and I actually live in Brooklyn, and we've known each other for, I don't know, a really long time. And this is maybe on like the second project that we've worked on together. So
we didn't know that when we cast them.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's like a lovable teddy bear. So that does it. It's not very hard. He's like just a fun person to be around. Yeah, and the three of us, I think, just got to know each other during the rehearsal sessions, and I felt like I clicked with Chris right away, even through Zoom. It's like, this kid's funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to add to that.
I echo a sentiment.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly easy to mesh with these two actors here, especially with Atibon at the helm. I think you have the most acting experience out of us three.
You know everything.
Yeah, I know. I know. I didn't know if they knew, but hey. But no, I think he does a really good job of making us all comfortable, you know. I remember being really overwhelmed with my first project, you know. I do stand-up, haven't done acting, but Atibon here, he just made it such an easy process, you know. He's very patient, very kind, and so I think that's why you've seen such great chemistry between us all, you know. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And it's worth mentioning, I don't know if you knew this, Robin, but Sheila and I was going to say Junior, Sheila and Chris, it's their first screen acting project ever. They had never acted for the screen before.
Incredible. I want to throw this question back to the two of you, though, when it comes to writing, particularly Atibon and Sheila's character, because so often when we see these types of stories, it's all about the struggle, and it's all about kind of the grind that the characters go through. But how did you write this affection and tenderness into this couple?
I think that, you know, I think when it comes to Caribbean people, and particularly Haitian people, we wanted to be incredibly careful with how we portrayed them. The media is not very kind to Haitian people, and we didn't want to echo those same sentiments. We wanted to, I think, through love, through romance between a middle-aged couple, I think that that would show humanity that I don't think that immigrant couples get on screen very often. Like you said, it is all about the struggle. And obviously this is about a family going through or witnessing a huge shift in their neighborhood. But there's joy between that. And we wanted to make sure that, you know, we echoed that and we centered joy amidst struggle.
Because we have so many incredible examples of like loving relationships in our lives, our parents, our uncles, our aunts, like it's just we've really felt like we owed it to everyone to represent our lives accurately, and that's such a huge part of our lives. Like love and joy in our homes is such a huge part of our lives. And like Monica said, like we hadn't, you know, it's a shame that it's like seldom seen, so we had like an opportunity to do something about it, and I felt like we jumped at it.
I'm kind of wondering, I thought it was really interesting how it worked on its own as a piece of comedy, but it was also reflective of the themes in the film and the relationship with his family. And I'm just wondering what the process was like for writing that. Was that in the initial script? Was that collaborative?
Did everybody hear that? Okay.
He said, why were the jokes so funny? You know, I'm a natural.
So I want to back up and say that our script was not the regular page length. We had a shorter script because we wanted to make room for dialogue. So a lot of the dialogue that you see, some of it was very much in the script, but some of it was worked out in the rehearsal with these, and sometimes on set, and we just sort of created these characters and the way they spoke together. And that was a huge reason why we cast Chris. From the beginning, I was like, I'm not going to write the stand-up. I'm going to guide it, but I don't think I'm that funny. And so once Chris really understood Junior and understood his backstory, he took that, and I mean, he's the funniest comedian in Miami, in my opinion. So it wasn't very hard.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, some of those jokes are my jokes. I do live with my parents too, so that was easy to write. That came from a real place. But yeah, when I read the character, it was very similar to what I go through, you know. I live with my parents, I dropped out of school, I do stand-up comedy, you know. So I had a tough time with my parents as well during the pandemic. And, you know, I just wrote to that, you know. Those jokes came from that time. We're better now. My parents love me. Yeah, especially because I'm in Toronto, you know, away from home. But but yeah, that's where that came from. So I really appreciate that you like the stand-up part. Thank you.
Well, in Little Haiti, it used to be weekly. Every Friday, they would go out and do. It's called Gaga, that genre of music. And the same band we have, Gaga would go out and the neighbors would come out and we'd come like this impromptu street party. And as things are changing, that's starting to dwindle and not happen as often. And so that was really important to us to make sure that we show kind of, I guess, a little bit what's at stake culturally within the neighborhood and what's so unique to Little Haiti specifically. I think also we use as a way to center Javier in community at the end, in his culture. It is carnival music, which is rooted in resistance, which is rooted in anti-colonialism, you know, which is rooted in the Haitian culture. And so we wanted to use it as a way to protect Xavier, you know. We never wanted to show the house actually getting demolished at the end. We thought it was kind of too violent and gross, and we're like, what would we rather see instead? And what is Atibon, what is Xavier taking away from this experience? And that's why we brought the Rara in the end to let him remember that if nothing else, he has his culture and his community.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. You know, in Miami, demolition and construction is a constant. Just like, I guess, in Toronto, that's why I feel like it's cool that we're showing the film here, not just because we're at TIFF, which is incredible, of course, but also the parallels between Toronto and Miami are really staggering in that way, because there's just this revolving door of construction and demolition always. Just even brand new buildings get torn down every day, so there's a lot of it. But in terms of the thing that was difficult for us was access, you know, as filmmakers. It took a long time to get access to demolitions. Obviously, this is a really low budget movie. We didn't stage any of that stuff. Those are all real demolitions that are happening in the city. So it was just a process of, you know, calling everyone, sitting, waiting, biting our nails, trying to figure out when we were going to be able to get on a site. And then at the very, you know, it was God, like at the very end, it came through. And we were able to, that was all the demolition stuff. All the demolition stuff happened on the last week of shooting. And the locations all came through 3 days before that last week of shooting. So we had already been shooting for 3 weeks and we thought we were going to have to postpone the rest of the movie. But then it just happened that they came through. It was crazy. And then the thing became like, how do we keep everybody safe on the sites, you know? Our composer, Dyani Douze, which is incredible. I mean, he's an incredible composer. We sat with him in sessions, and Dyani is also like an acclaimed musician in his own right, and this was his first score. Never scored a film before, for a feature. First score for a feature. Right. Yeah, he worked on a short with Javier Gary, which is incredible too, but this is his first feature. And you know, we were really interested in pulling different concepts, musical concepts from across the spectrum of Haitian culture and Haitian music. And so we recorded with Dyani and with actually some of the Rara musicians instruments on their own, and then Dyani layered them on top of each other. We went into, you know, Haitian voodoo culture, and we recorded some loa, which are some you know, some songs, drums, and you know, rhythms, specific rhythms that are each for different deities in the religion, and then a lot of that stuff made its way into the final score. The score, actually, those drums were recorded by a father and son. The son has been in Rara Lakai, the band, since he was 3 years old. And the father is one of the founding members of the band, and so it's like, even in the score, there's these themes that we're exploring, like even with the people that are working on the movie, which is so cool. And Dyani was working out a lot of stuff with his dad too, and Dyani's dad is in the movie too, so yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, Dyani's dad is one of the radio people you hear on the radio. So that, yeah, there's a lot of father-son stuff happening there. I also, when I met with Dyani the first time, I was thinking a lot about Atlantics, which is another amazing film about many things, including gentrification. And I was like, I want that sort of watery sound, but the same way that Fatima did that for that film. Let's center compa. And how do we extract the rhythms and the bass and the guitar of compa? And besides that, with the sound, our sound designer is Eric Valdez. We just wanted to make sure that we centered Little Haiti and the sounds of Little Haiti. It's a very busy, loud sort of neighborhood. And so I always wanted you to hear the neighbors talking about religion in the background, or the cars playing compa as they pass by. I just wanted to create like a rich soundscape, so that could be another way that you could experience Little Haiti as it is now. I think there's a reason that we don't have like some big bad villain in this film. I think this is like a cycle of the economy we live in, of capitalism. Like we are inevitably going to encroach on someone else's homestead. Little Haiti kind of became Little Haiti from the 70s, when a lot of people fled during the Duvalier regime, and it became like sort of a refuge, and it was built brick by brick, so to speak, by those residents. And so there is a sort of ownership that we want to keep and that we have, but the reality is, for many years, we Haitians have not owned those buildings, and there's not much that we can do to keep it ours. It's a little, built warehouses are going for $3 million plus now, and it's too late, pretty much. And so, I think that's why we look at this film as sort of an archive of a space. I don't want to be like a downer, but, I think that what's to come is to come, and I think that of many neighborhoods in this country that are changing. Obviously, I would love to own a home as well one day. I think that the key is to know where you're moving, and to know your neighbors, and to not call the police if you hear some loud music, or not make yourself so spread out in a space that you make everyone smaller. I think that we're all just doing our best to survive collectively, and I think that it's just being conscious of who's around you and just being a good neighbor. That's the best we could do.
I want to end by kind of asking about your work in Third Horizon Collective and what role that played in this film. And then also, this is your first film, but I think we all want to see more from you. So how can we learn more about what you're working on?
Robert and I are both members of Third Horizon. The first film they did actually premiered at TIFF. It's a short called Papa Machete. It's online. Feel free to watch it. And Robert and I have worn many hats there. Not only do we make films together when we can, I think of our collective members, there are only 3 of us on this one, if we're including Romola.
On this film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few.
Jason.
We're all spread out across the globe. We have members in London and New York and New Orleans, Miami. So we work together when we can, and we come together once a year for the Third Horizon Film Festival in Miami, which exhibits largely Caribbean films, as well as films from the global south around the world. And yeah, we're just really interested in giving voice to that region of the world, holding a mirror up so that others can see just how alike we all are, and centering those stories.
Yeah, and also I just want to say before we go, it's it's such an honor and it's such a milestone and it's so huge. I don't know if you know how huge it is for a movie that was made in Miami that's in Haitian Creole to be at TIFF. So I just want to say thank you so much for having us. And,
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.